at him?
I'm ready to start because DJ's pissing me off already. Why would you put him on my side? Look at our thighs together.
Your thighs aren't that big, first
Where'd
of
you
all.
get those shorts?
I've had them. I just don't work out in them because my butt gets sweaty. And then
How come we
doesn't
didn't
dry
get...
very good.
We're sponsored athletes.
Yeah.
You guys got the double XL shirts.
Yeah, that was real nice. Those look real good.
I can't wear those because it makes me look like...
Like you're just wearing a trash bag.
Looks like my whole life growing up where I had to wear my older brother's shorts. Like, I never bought a new pair of shorts or shirts because it was handed down. That's what you gave me.
Well, if it's Deej, fine. Right?
Not really.
Oh, good. Actually, mine's actually a little big, too. I could tuck it in if I needed to.
I would never tuck in my shirt, though.
I mean, for, like, work when I'm being a professional.
Oh, I don't do that.
Yeah, you're not. You're still wearing your work clothes right now.
No, I switched out of my sweatpants from earlier.
Well,
How do you want to start this? Introduce...
yeah, we should introduce Deej first.
Okay.
So, DJ... let's start it off with how I start off for Bob. I don't know how you met Mark.
You don't?
Same thing with Bob. I was just like... Bob's wasn't as exciting as I was expecting it to be. He was just like, I got sunburned at a beach and then...
He did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like yours is going to be more interesting in terms of how you became a coach from being a member first, right?
How long do you want this to take?
As long as 1 hour.
Yeah.
1 hour hard
It's just-
stop.
Today's like my intro,
Yeah.
and then like in 2 weeks we'll come back and do it again. So some friends of Sabrina who's my wife, were working out with Mark at the garage. And then when he moved to the other place, they were always like, "Oh, you should come." And I had always been a bigger dude, and so I weighed 260 pounds, and I lost a bunch of weight the year before starting CrossFit by running and eating less food, or like smaller portions, not like less food. So I'd still like eat pizza. I'd still eat like shit basically.
Yeah.
But I would just eat less of it. And then they're like, so I got down to like, I don't know, 185 or 186. And it was like, it's like not what I'm supposed to be at. But
Yeah.
like,
That's why everyone at the gym, because you came in like runner skinny.
right.
No one at the gym
I didn't
knows
know
your
that.
fat story.
Right.
He's posted pictures before, but I haven't seen it. Like,
The fat ones,
it's not that fat.
they're pretty bad.
260 is heavy, man.
I know.
What are you, like 5'7"?
I'm like 5'5", yeah. I'm like,
You're not that tall.
No, I'm like 5'12", you know.
Not even close. You're like 5'10", right?
Yeah, I'm like 5'10".
Yeah, to 265, 5'10".
Yeah.
But we're not talking 265 muscle.
No.
How did-
No.
So Sabrina's known Marston's garage, not
Yeah.
the one across.
But
like,
she was only there for, like, she came in like a couple of times and like sat and like watched her friends work out, because they were like, it was like this cool thing that they were doing.
So,
And then the four of us all went to dinner. Their names are Brandon and Andrea.
okay.
And they were like, "Oh, you should come try it. Like, you know, you can get 2 weeks for free or something." And I was like, and I was running at the time, and so I was like, "Oh, okay, like that's cool." And so I showed up, and they were like, the first workout I did was 4 rounds for time of 400-meter run and 25 burpees. I was like, yeah, they're like, like didn't test me on it. They're like, oh, like I came in knowing Brandon and Andrea, and so like, oh, you know them, and I was like, yeah, and they're like, and you work out kind of right now, and I'm like,
jump in.
yeah, sure, and it was like it was such a mistake. Like everybody else that I've ever seen come through there has not been allowed to just like jump into some crazy workout and just do it RX, but those were the days.
There wasn't a very strict intro process other than like a nice one-on-one meeting.
Right.
But again, if you get brought in by a friend,
Right.
usually it's like a hazing thing.
Yeah, you're just like,
Back in the CrossFit days, when the garage days, it was bring your friends in so we could fucking annihilate them.
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think that's what Brandon was trying to do to you. So.
yeah. Well,
So 2 weeks is generous.
well,
It's more
but
like,
you know what
can
else
you make
happened
it
though
2
is
weeks?
then it was like, but it was just one class, right? And like, oh, you're gonna come back tomorrow, and I was like, sure. And so I started coming back, and then when I was at the end of the 2 weeks, when I was ready to sign up for a membership, his brother, it was like there was 1 week left. I started in February, so there was like 1 week left.
Jeez. Yeah.
And he was like, well, we'll just start your membership next month. So I actually got 3 months or 3 weeks for free
You
before I started.
bastard.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally a student.
I'm totally getting all the discounts. I'm a senior citizen.
It's cheaper if I'm a student. Yeah, absolutely, I'm a student.
I know people in the military too. Whatever. Just give me that too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
He went from robbing you from day one, and now he's really on the payroll.
Yeah, I mean, whatever that means.
How long did you CrossFit for until you had that conversation with me outside, saying that you would like to do something more and help?
I mean,
I remember that.
So
vividly.
I started in February
of
we got married in 2010, so I started in February 2011. So because I think you guys moved over in August of 2010 is what you said on Bob's podcast. So I started February 2011, and we went to the games that year. There was like a group of us that went in 2011
as spectators.
Well, I mean, you don't need to add that in.
we went to the games.
Yeah,
we went to the games.
Dude, we went to the games.
I was in one of the photos for that, like CrossFit.com published.
The CrossFit Journal.
Yeah, I didn't look like it anyway. So I think I would guess it would be sometime around that July mark. So I had only been there, 5 months, 6 months before I was like, hey, I really like this. What can I do to help? What can I do to like give back to this community?
Right.
And it just has been since then that because then I was like, I don't know, one of the first that like just shadowed. Everyone else had been there for like, because Dan and Brandon were like helping you coach at night. Like once you and Chung started splitting the classes and then figuring things out, everyone else started splitting. But it was like, I feel like I asked you, where do you need the most help? And everyone else had a real job. Like I was just working at the YMCA as a after school counselor type thing with their after school program. And so you said that you needed help in the morning, and so that's where I went. And that's where I have been ever since.
That's where you've stayed.
Yeah, like.
But seriously, I know when I first joined, I just knew you as the AM guy.
Right.
Like Deej does mornings, and it was pretty split, and Mark does PM.
Right.
But I guess what we wanted to bring you on for was also to talk what changes you've seen in the gym, because Mark always mentions like, oh yeah, we've done every diet in the book, we've done every lifting protocol in the book and program, and that's what's cool about CrossFit, that you guys can just diversify yourselves like that. But
yeah.
How do you think coaching wise? I mean, you started off just getting like a level 1 and then
yeah. I got my level 1, and then that was it.
Go for it.
Just go for it.
And that was it.
Say what you want to say.
Yeah, it's all good. I got my level 1 and learned how to coach, and it took a really long time for me to figure out, because there's more to, and whatever. Like I'll speak highly of CrossFit Sun because of the way that I feel we run things. There's more to running one of our classes than just being a certified level 1 or level 2 or whatever coach.
Right.
Like we spend more time at our gym building the community and making sure everyone is okay than really we do anything else.
Yeah.
Because we care so much about our community. That's why we go beyond, what other people are doing into looking into like, not just like what's the best program for people to like help people squat more or anything like that, right? Because our audience at the gym hasn't been these people want to make it to the games, these people want to do all these high level things, as much as it's been like these guys, their knees hurt when they run, these people can't run, their backs hurt when they're outside for 2 hours doing gardening. What can we do to help them? And so that's always been
that's where I want to get to, is like, if you guys followed, I remember like in the back, like where your PR numbers are at, and just following some kind of lifting protocol to have a lift off at the end of it, right?
Okay.
How's the transition been with like Mark implementing more FixFit stuff into the gym? Meaning like warm up, cool down, Wednesdays, WOD shops.
Well, so everything evolves, right? Mm-hmm. So it's been an evolution of what I feel is just our programming the entire time, because what happens is, love you, every time he goes to any kind of seminar, he comes back and it's like, this is what we're doing. So
Right.
like he went to a CrossFit football seminar and came back,
Right.
and we bought those what are those, the step ladders, and we're
Yeah.
like throwing step ladder drills in, and people are like running in between cones and all this other stuff. And it's
Yeah.
like, this is gonna be better for our power output.
Yeah.
And then like so
it's real. Every seminar we try to implement a lot of
immediately.
pose running.
Yeah, you're just talking about
barefoot running.
Yeah, the barefoot.
That was the same thing with we did same thing, right? We did an Olympic lifting seminar with John North,
Right.
and it was like everyone's learning how to do the hit and catch, and that's what we're doing. And it's like, all right, let's go.
Right.
Because I've talked about it before. I view the gym as the lab,
Right.
and we have to test it out. And luckily, we have all these different people, different athletic backgrounds, different age, occupation, and then so we try it out, and then towards the end of it, then we kind of keep what works and what doesn't.
Right.
So that's what the evolution looks like at CrossFit Sun.
Right.
Because a lot of people will say this is the best protocol or program, but we test it out and we're like, well, this worked and all this other shit was garbage or whatever, and then we just kind of pick and choose. But we're always testing.
Well, and that's what happened with FixFit is that it got brought in first as Strong Fit, and it put people off, I feel, because it wasn't CrossFit. It's not labeled CrossFit, doesn't really have anything to do with CrossFit, it's its own thing. And then Mark is seeing the results from it, from trying stuff, so he's trying to figure out how to change it. Okay, so then it becomes FixFit. Okay, now we're running a FixFit class in the morning and at night, with like twice a week, and we're seeing results from people doing that and hurting less or being able to feel better. But now people are becoming addicted to the FixFit class and not doing the regular class. It's like, okay, well now how do we balance that? And that's kind of what we've been dealing with for the last 6 months to a year, is figuring out how to implement the stuff from FixFit into the regular class and not have it be, hey, this is a FixFit warm-up and then this is a CrossFit workout, but this is a CrossFit Sun program.
That's a great transition into what you were talking about earlier, that there's going to be the CrossFitter that's like, I don't want to do the FixFit stuff, it's boring.
Yeah.
And, I always label it differently to my patients and go like, oh, it's accessory work, it's stability drills, it's rehab, but like just to change their mind frame. So from an athlete side, you could see people going like, dude, this FixFit's making me feel better, I'm just going to do that and not do the CrossFit.
Right.
And we're trying to blend it. Right. So as an athlete, how has it worked? That's what, but.
Well, I was going to touch on that subject. It's one of the big topics for this is, how do you integrate something like this as a gym?
Right.
And
yes.
DJ has seen it. So we actually ran the FixFit classes 2 days a week and on Saturdays. So then it became, it's like you could take a CrossFit class or a FixFit class.
Right.
Right. But then I realized our number one goal is always community. So then it was starting to create two communities.
Right.
And that's when I made the decision to cut it off. And then again, it's like people.
Okay, now, but by cutting it off, right? It's not, okay, we're done with it, we're not doing that anymore. It's like, this was working, but it's splitting our membership. So what do we do? How do we bring this together? How do we fuse this? And it's 100% based on how you sell it.
Right.
Right? So if you're selling it as, oh, it's FixFit, it's its own thing, people don't want to do it. But if you're like, oh no, this is just we're just warming up with these slam ball presses and overhead walks and overhead squats with it, because
they're not
what we're
forced to do it.
Yeah.
It's not they're forced to take the class. They're learning these FixFit movements before their CrossFit work.
Well, and labeling what we're doing those movements for. So we're warming our shoulders up because we're going to do a ton of snatches. And after we're done doing a ton of snatches, then you're going to go outside and carry something over your head for a little bit more stability work. And
that was the second reason we took away the FixFit class, because, again, we tested it out. The reason why people are gravitating towards it is because, like DJ says, we're not CrossFit Games athletes. Most people just want to work out, have fun with the community, and not hurt.
Right.
So we're realizing that it's working, right? So that's why we had to take away the classes, because it's not even like a supplemental program. Now it's just, in my opinion, the next evolution of coaching, right? If I'm going to coach a squat, the way of coaching FixFit isn't just like a FixFit brand. It's just the way it is. It's more functional because you're teaching it the right way. So the integration, like DJ said, it wasn't all or nothing. So we didn't just say, all right, no more FixFit classes. We had to educate the members and tell them that, look, the warm-ups and the way we scale and modify workouts can be labeled as, people still call it that way now, it's branded, it's like you're doing FixFit movements.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's really how we coach. And what we're doing now, where we're at the coaching at CFS now, is we're trying to retrain all the coaches. Not trying to, we're going to, and we have our coaches like meeting this Sunday.
Yep.
And this is the standard of coaching moving forward. So we had like 3 years of testing, probably a year and a half of trying to implement it with the FixFit classes, and now it's just at this point where this is just how we coach now, how we warm people up, how we modify. If you can't do a pull-up or a kipping pull-up like in CrossFit, whichever, it isn't just to do more pull-up drills.
Well, the best place to see how we modify is on a burpee. We did a burpee workout. One of the open workouts had burpees in it, and everybody messed their shoulders up, messed their traps up because of they were doing burpees, which sounds ridiculous when you look at it from like like an athlete standpoint or something. Like, how do you hurt yourself doing a burpee?
Yeah, it's a burpee.
You're literally just
deadlift.
You're bringing yourself to the ground and standing up, right? But when you start peeling back the layers of like, not only is that movement utilizing a ton of like, you're using your entire body to get to the ground, so there's a good chance. Also, like, a lot of the time the way people will perform the movement is the issue. So it's like, okay, well then instead of doing a full, like, so then we peel it back, it's like, all right, people don't know how to do push-ups. So instead of now at the gym, what we've been doing for the last like 3 or 4 weeks since that workout is instead of doing push-ups where your chest touches the ground and you come all the way up to an extension, but people aren't feeling it in their shoulder or in their pecs, they're feeling it up in their traps and like can't do anything the next day. It's, you load, go to about 90 degrees until you feel that pec turn on and push up from there. And we're more driving with the muscles the entire time versus like a full range of motion, like whatever the hell that may mean.
Well, we talked about that today, right? The standards.
That's a big thing. It's like, exactly why is a no rep even a thing in a regular gym?
Right.
In a regular gym, as in we're trying to get people fit and healthy, right? We're not trying to, get people to compete. So there's no such thing as a no rep.
Right.
I mean, there's definitely a better way to train, and that's to get people towards their goals.
Right.
So if you're trying to do burpees to get your heart rate up to build a stronger shoulder and core, then we have found a more efficient way to do that as coaches.
The same way that if you are trying to train to beat the person next to you, if I'm doing a workout in the morning and I want to know that I beat Mark or whatever, like we just ahead of, like, that's what the standards are for, right? That's what the no rep is for, is that when I'm looking at my score on the board, I know that I'm beating Mark. But if Mark's messed up, like, it would be ridiculous for me to assume that he would be performing that workout the same way.
So you've been coaching for a long time. Yeah. What do you think? Mark always calls it the CrossFit honeymoon phase, which I just talked to a few CrossFitters this weekend from other gyms that were like, yeah, I'm about year 3 right now, and I'm about to just give it up. Like, I didn't do the open. I'm not interested in it this year, and I'm hurt, and I just don't want to do it. How many times have you seen and heard that? Because I want to beat the guy.
Have I seen and heard that?
Yeah.
I mean,
years of coaching. I mean, you can't sell yourself short on that.
No, all the time. I mean, it's all the time, and that's the sad thing about working at a gym is that, especially with us, we really invest in our members.
Yes.
So it hurts when somebody cancels their membership. Financially, like, that might be the issue, but we've always tried to go above and beyond to help keep people at our gym, no matter what situation you're in.
And there might be people that just go like, I don't care, I just want to compete and go out and go home, and I don't want to know what's going on. And
that's the other part too, is that like people that do come into our gym and are like, I can't wait to go bananas. You're like, well, that's not really what we do here. I mean, it's not that there aren't athletes in the gym that do that, because I would say that that's something that I am known, for better or for worse, that's something that I'm known for.
That's what a lot of people from the gym that are listening are waiting for. Please talk about happy hour.
Please talk about your training. But like,
please name drop some people at happy hour.
But when like me and Dang are like going unbroken on 40 bar muscle ups, it's like not a big deal. But no, but like
there it is.
Yeah. But so, like, that's not like. But as a coach, right? That's like not the market that we're in.
You're out of the picture there. So then what do you think about, for yourself then, FixFit?
It's been a journey.
Yeah.
It has.
Because you're an athlete.
Okay.
We talked about that before on the podcast, and I even give you some props, and I was like, he's an athlete.
I wouldn't know. I've never listened to your podcast.
Okay.
I could start that.
Oh shit! There we go. Oh, he grabs the whiskey and he goes, I can tell you all about DJ.
I gotta take a shot.
Well, let me tell you back in the day.
Well, DJ.
Here we go.
Being a coach,
I'm excited.
Right?
Yes.
He had to teach the morning FixFit classes, so
yeah,
he had to learn it, right? So then he has to teach it, but as an athlete, it was a longer process of him buying into it. I think it was the first year he probably had nothing to do with it or wanted to, and we'll say halfway through he started dabbling in it because he had to learn it to coach it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the turning point is when we went on that road trip to Barbells for Boobs.
Okay.
And then we stopped by Davon's gym, Brazil Strength.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was like the turning point. But even after that, you didn't fully buy into it. So we went up to Davon's gym, Brazil Strength, and that was the home of, originally, that's where the StrongFit gym was. But I connected with Davon because he helped me a lot during the StrongFit seminar. Brought DJ up there to get an assessment. We actually had no intentions of just like being assessed, but when we got there and Davon was just like gracious enough to give us his time, and we did deadlifts because we jumped right into it.
Right.
We went heavy as fuck.
Yeah.
I think I tweaked my back that day.
Yeah, well, it's the way it works is when we deadlift, one of us gets injured. So
yeah, that just happens when DJ and I both deadlift heavy. One of us like tweak our back. So it was me this time. It was great, and it sucks because I'm the one that's being like, oh, FixFit, and he's like.
I'm like, I don't know what this is. Switch grip, here we go.
So then after we do the deadlifts, then Davon gets in coaching mode and then assessed DJ. Found out as big as his ass is, none of his glutes are working.
Mm-mm.
His hamstring wasn't working.
Just
like,
the dorsal fins of his low back.
shark fins, erectors. So there's so many things.
We were just real quick. We did toes to bar yesterday. I was working out with Jonathan, and he's like, I was on the bar doing it was like 5 toes to bar or something. He's like, you got abs on your back, right? And I'm like, you've got to be
From
kidding
the
me.
lay person, the regular cross.
Right.
Just
He's like, how did you do that? And I'm like, don't talk to me.
Well,
that's
that Christmas
not a
tree on
good
the
thing.
back.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So we were at Davon's gym, and then he did an assessment, and it was at that point where he looked over at both of us or something, but he was telling DJ like a heart to heart, like what you should do is, and he threw every drill at DJ to get like his glutes or his hamstrings to fire, and it's like just wasn't happening.
Right.
And he was almost perplexed, like this is the worst case I've ever seen. Kind of look. I don't think he really said that.
Right.
But what
It's because he's putting up big numbers, and then he was like, "How the hell is he's getting that up with his lower back?"
That's the thing is that DJ's
Still does.
probably the strongest and fittest person in our gym. So
As of the Open this year, yeah.
we'll talk about that later. As of this year. So he's like, I mean, just as a reference, like how like your quick numbers on lifts, so people know. Okay, we're talking about when I say there's like a level, right? There's like CrossFit Games people and regionals. That's like out there. We call that pro.
Right.
I think you're like the fittest out of people that aren't in that category.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I don't know. I mean, I don't
Clean.
I cleaned 325 pounds this year.
Okay, and snatch.
I've snatched 260 pounds this year.
So things like that, like those are big numbers as a CrossFit gym owner, right?
Yeah.
Yes, there's people out there listening saying, oh, that's like shitty numbers, whatever.
Right.
But as a whole, that's pretty damn high,
Yeah.
For the average person. So you're lifting you're lifting those numbers without all the most important muscles being active. And so Davon was like, if you get a strain, that's cool. But if you get a serious injury, like a tear, like off the bone, then you can't come back from that. They have to like reattach that and tie that shit. It'll never be the same again. And so I think that line right there, giving that heart to heart to DJ, was kind of like the first eye-opening thing. He's like, oh shit, that's not good. It's not just me telling them, it's always like someone else.
Right.
It's like you won't listen to your spouse or your parents, but if you get someone else to tell you, he's like, oh, okay. So it was probably a good 6 months after that where he did a lot of FixFit movements, but he still wasn't getting.
It was like AMRAP.
He just did it, and I remember another vivid memory. I was like, he was like, it's not working or whatever. And I was like, you did the exercises, but you didn't fully care or obsess about them. So he's like, he almost got defense. He did get defensive. He was like, I'm doing these movements. And I was like, there's a difference, right? And I was like, you know every wrestler's walk-in song and every wrestler's name and move and whatever, right?
Right.
And I was like, no one had to tell you to do that shit. It's because you obsessed or cared about it.
Right.
You're just following a program. You're not figuring out what muscles are deficient. You just think you do sandbag carries, rope pulls, fucking pec activation drills, whatever. You think that's going to fix you. And he learned the hard way that didn't do anything.
That's the way I've learned all my lessons at the gym.
And even then, as an athlete, this is that whole journey. Even then, he still wasn't bought in yet until the final thing that kind of changed his mind, where he was stuck on his clean or snatch, right? Both for probably 5 years. Because back then we were really into weightlifting. We did all the different weightlifting protocols and programs, probably spending hours on it a day. So he's been stuck. He hasn't hit PR. So his old school CrossFit mindset is to, you know what? I'm going to fucking snatch and clean every day. Right? And then I should get stronger.
Yeah.
You did that though, right? To confirm? That's what 100%. You did. So he did that on his own, and I'm sitting there, go ahead, you do you, boo-boo. So then he did that, and then he was like, I don't even know, but you said it didn't work. And,
right.
And you're like, let's give this fucking FixFit thing a real go at it. And I think from then on, you actually gave it a try, and that's when you hit your clean PR of 325. So without cleaning much, without Olympic lifting every single day, that's when he finally felt what I felt through this testing, is that you don't have to do the major lifts to PR. And then I think that's when you probably finally clicked.
Yeah.
For my deadlift too, that was like the people that have followed FixFit from day one or StrongFit days, that was the whole goal. Is like I was stuck at a deadlift number like 405 to 425 average for a long time, and then I didn't touch a deadlift. I just did kind of FixFit movements or training and regular CrossFit wads, and then that's when I finally pulled 455. That was like 9 months ago. And then you didn't
do any other part of King Kong after that.
Yeah, I should have. Damn it. But that's why now I'm trying to do the 500 pound deadlift goal with just pure FixFit training.
But do you think that it needs to replace things, FixFit protocol?
Absolutely not.
Or is it, because what Mark and I have found out with all this new building content stuff is like, we don't want to replace anything.
Right. And it doesn't. It does in some sense, right? Like,
it replaces a shitty warm-up.
But it's, or no warm-up.
Well, what is a traditional group class warm-up, right? Go for a nice run. Go do jumping jacks. Go do burpees.
Right.
Go do whatever, skill work, right?
Right.
But how does that actually fix your mechanics of the movements that are about to go down?
Right.
Right? Or it replaces
get the right muscles going, right? Because, like, if you're just going for a 800-meter run, you're going to come back and do some bench press. Like, that's not a warm-up.
Yeah, maybe your pec should be active. Maybe
right. Are you running?
Yeah.
You're running while flexed? Like, that's not what's happening.
You need a refill?
No, I do not. Thank you. Okay. And that's the thing is I say it replaces like shitty modifications, right?
Right.
And that's what we used to do, so I can say that. Where if you're not good at pull-ups, right? Or let's do ring rows for the rest of your life.
Right. And then let's just add a band to your pull-up.
Let's stay on bands for the rest of our lives. Yep. But you never isolated the main issues, which is you have no lats, you have no biceps.
Right.
You can't do pull-ups because of those things. So that's why now our gym, for our coaches, it's evolving where it's not replacing anything, in my opinion. It's just a better way to do it. Mm-hmm. It's just an update. That's why people get mad. They're just like, how come we're changing things again? I'm like, well, do you want to get better?
I only remember that pushback, at least from my end, when you got rid of FixFit classes, which I'm glad that you did, because just like we said, like if you have just FixFit classes, people chose sides, or, well, this is like making me feel better, and I could just push some sled instead of, running, and it's like, oh yeah, cool. But now that you're replacing the warm-up and cool-down like that, do you think that you've seen less injury? Less people being like, I can't go today because I got hurt yesterday.
I don't know. I don't want to say that I've seen less injury. What I will say is that I've seen more people in the regular classes who weren't doing FixFit before and didn't really care about it before, feeling different muscles work, feeling the right muscles work when they're either warming up or doing movements. So like
I'm sore in my pecs the next day instead of my neck. Yeah.
Right. Or like doing a deadlift and we did whatever, we're like, we'll talk about breathing or something, and someone like will come in the next day and be like, that was, and they won't say it in front of the class, right? It'll be something one-on-one where they're like, hey, just so you know, that's like the first time I've ever felt my hamstrings when I'm deadlifting.
No, I only get one-on-one approaches. So
thank you for never telling me in class when you're deadlifting that you're not feeling it, because that's super
damn
cool.
Validation in front of everybody, please.
No, not even that. Just that you're like, I just usually feel it on my back. Okay, have a good class.
I don't think that the injury rate is less either, because I don't want to be like, hey, we implemented FixFit, no one gets injured.
Right.
But there's a big difference, because even in the past, we've always had that mindset of like, okay, you got injured, tweak something, let's figure out what happened.
Right.
We just didn't have good answers for that. We'd be like trying every mobility WOD known to man, every stretch, even every drill that we could find, like a bird picker. But again, now that we know, it's like we weren't doing it right.
Because the other part to that too with the injuries is that like, just because we know the answer doesn't mean that people want to hear it. Doesn't mean that people are going to do it.
Yeah, or they're going to have to do it. And we tell people that all the time. It's
right.
like, you know what's wrong now. You can either come in tomorrow and hit this workout super hard, or you can modify it and work on your hamstring and glutes for a little bit.
And they'll come in tomorrow and hit it really hard. And they're like,
I'll tell you,
my knee still hurts. You're like, yeah, well.
Well, that's what he's doing right now, what DJ's doing right now, is the same shit I went through for 3.5 years.
With me.
Yeah. He's like, well, my back's still tight, my trap's still sore.
Yeah.
How come my elbow hurts? And so it's the people that have anything that flares up or injured, let's say, I think the difference is that they're able to talk about it and we're able to give them something to address the core issues, I guess.
I saw less people blown up for sure in my office from the gym.
I think that's just because less people are coming to you.
No, that's even better. No, they are not coming. No, that is not true at all.
That's a business issue.
That's not true.
We're coaching at a gym. I can't help you with shitty chiropractic care.
No, that is not
People
true.
are like, does anyone know a good chiro? And I'm like, well, I know a chiro. I don't know that he's
I did
good.
not.
He mentioned on his own podcast that the business is slow.
Yeah.
I will not.
CrossFit son, if you're hearing this, Ian needs your business.
I will not mention names, but the first open I worked for you guys, I got some calls.
I'm sure.
Real bad.
Yeah.
There was a deadlift WOD.
Probably from me.
And Deej might have been one of them, that his low back was tight and we had to grass in his erector fins and stuff like that. And then the next one, we did videos on how to recover, thinking like, oh my God, we got to tackle it because last year was like a lot. And then this year, not that much.
But also this year, no deadlift workout.
Well, no, I think that I've had a lot of people go, I've tweaked something in my neck, and then Mark gave me Terry's carries.
Right.
And then I did those with some kettlebells, some farmer's carries with them, fired my Terry's, and it's less now. What do you think? And I'm always like today we just met with someone, and you were like, what's wrong? What's broken? And I was just like, nothing. Like, there's nothing wrong with her. Just we want to move on for strength now and performance.
Preventative measures, because if they have all these imbalances and they go back into training or whatever, going back into heavy lifting, the injury is going to happen.
That's what I keep seeing.
Yeah.
So that's for real. That's no joke.
The deadlift has changed. We talked about this with programming. Every time I get nervous when we program certain movements, like the snatch,
box jumps,
overhead squats.
Oh yeah.
Overhead squats. People like sometimes tweak their neck, or they have that like numbness and tingling in the arm really freaks them out, and I see why. But deadlifts, whenever we go heavy, and it doesn't even have to be a max, I'm like that worried parent, and I'm like, please don't, because it happens. You have so many people run through the deadlift workout throughout the day. There has to be someone that tweaks their back, and I think
that's just the only person who didn't strap their belt on tight enough.
Exactly. That must be the problem.
That must be, yeah.
You didn't mobilize before? What the hell's wrong with you?
Just use straps.
Yeah, there you go.
But it's because
use
of
straps, you can engage more muscles. Is a scientific fact.
Being able to
strap
hinge.
muscle, right?
We should have a whole podcast on Ian's baby grip.
Baby grip.
If you look at his hand, he did something to it.
I did some pull-ups today.
Oh.
Not even chest
Can you
bars.
put your hands up to the camera?
It's a boo-boo. I have a blood blister that I.
It doesn't look small because it's away from the camera. It's just small.
Yeah. Does that make me? Do I look bigger than him in this view? Do we need to switch where we're sitting?
You do look obese in this one.
I think deadlift injury rate or tweaks has gone down substantially at our gym.
I could see that.
And what else has gone down?
Snatching.
I think pull up injuries as well. Toes to bar. I don't
like the high neck.
Yeah, shoulder kind of like it's more back then. It was more scary because when people actually talked about it, it was like, oh shit, that whole like boogeyman of CrossFit is like, oh, I think I had a slap tear or something serious. But now when people tweak their shoulder or neck, it's not. I haven't seen it where it's so bad where they might need surgery type of stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I keep trying to get at, but you guys keep downplaying it. But it's okay. Where do you see it going?
Where?
Yeah.
I mean,
can you see a FixFit gym?
A FixFit gym?
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be a gym because I think
a center, FixFit Performance Center.
I mean,
young talent.
Isn't that kind of what this is? Isn't that kind of what your office is?
No, my office is for injury assessment and preventative care.
So you're speaking in like the next 3 years that you have a new office that has a gym in the back that Mark's working at, where it's like
no, more like a third location. I mean, I would want my
whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, like whatever your spot is that you're in there doing assessments and Mark's doing assessments and you guys are but the thing is, it's not. Whatever. People don't look at FixFit like it's a workout.
It shouldn't be.
Right. So
it's an additive.
So it's hard. It would be hard to sell that to people on top of a gym like as your gym membership.
Right.
You're coming to this FixFit center.
That's why there would be a third center that I would think, where people would want performance.
Right.
Or coaches can get trained.
Well, I think
outside of.
The coaches should be able to, with more it's like taking another seminar as a CrossFit coach. I mean, how many certifications did we take? Or extra seminars, right?
All of them.
Taking all of them. It's just to get you better at coaching your clients.
Right.
And I do believe that this is where it should be heading, where everyone should have this basic knowledge of mechanics.
Sure.
So I don't think it...
But I think just like DJ's saying, selling our gym does this differently. Selling my seminar does this differently. It's the same thing.
Right.
But if you do a performance center that's like, come feel it, and our seminar will run you.
But that's what that's what our gym is now. Our gym is.
But I'm talking like for other sports and other athletes.
Well, that's where I'm saying like we're CrossFitters. We
right.
Get to dabble in a lot of
that is
sport.
Our right. That's our sport.
I want this info to be readily available and to hit a soccer coach. Or soccer strength and conditioning coach, or wrestler strength and conditioning.
Well, Deej trained some football players this year.
I did this year, yeah.
And one of their things I saw you do was like push a sled, but it wasn't like push a sled up and down this turf like
until you throw up.
Yeah,
right.
It was like fire these pecs and
right.
And the kids are probably sore in the
pushing them this way, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is what I want to. That's where I see it.
I don't know that comes from a specific performance center, because at that point you would need to be well versed enough to attack everybody's individual sports, as much as like the future of being able to get the information to different coaches and have them see, okay, for football you need X, Y, and Z. Okay, now for wrestling you need X, Y, and Z. Okay, for golf you need X, Y, and Z. That's
a good point, because the difference is that you need to be a specialist in your coaching.
Right.
So, excuse me, if you're a golf coach, you need to spend years developing that.
Right.
And then you pair that with the FixFit.
Right.
So if you had a center, you can't have like a golf specialist, a soccer specialist.
Right.
Because then you have to pair the two together. So that's why I don't think a center would work, unless you're a golf FixFit center, whatever.
Right.
Let's put a label on it. But then that'll only be golf, because those people have years of golf mechanics and the coaching eye for a golf swing.
Because like with football this year, right? Like I only ran the kids through really strength and conditioning. That was then we'd be like take the field. I don't know how to throw a ball. Like that's not. But something.
Also he has different players in there. He wasn't like.
That's why I have trouble
wide receiver,
athlete.
and
right.
This is the lineman.
And then I'd like ask kids like, oh yeah, like whatever. How did it go yesterday?
Foosball game we play.
Oh yeah, I was in the offensive line and and I'm like, you are not making any sense to me. But your deadlift sucks.
So I have trouble calling
let's
you.
Go.
When I said athlete earlier, I was like, athlete.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't throw a ball.
I don't think people. I think that term "everyone's an athlete" is horse shit.
Really?
Ooh.
I think so.
Why?
Because it sets them up for failure. Think about it. Because
Why? How so?
What is the goal of an athlete?
I mean, wouldn't you just say it's just to be the best?
Exactly.
The fittest you can be? Again, that's CrossFit lingo, but just
as
to be the best.
As an athlete, right, what is honored, or like who do you put on a pedestal? It's that dude that was, tweaked his ankle and wrapped it up and got back on the field, and like he's memorialized as like the toughest, baddest motherfucking athlete.
But that's not. But like Tom Brady's looked at as like the best athlete because he's been able to maintain more than however long he's been playing.
Some would argue that as a quarterback, he only just throws the ball.
But based on
his position, though, has longevity prescribed in it.
Because
the athlete that's the 300-pound lineman,
right,
has a shorter career.
Right, but then it's each individual position has a different definition of what an athlete is, right? Like the guy that weighs 300 pounds that's cleaning whatever 400 pounds or whatever from a hang position just using his neck, like that's nuts. But also this guy that's able to throw the ball as far as he can, as consistently as he can, like there's more. Not that there's more to it, but like that guy's an athlete too. The same way that like, people that are coming in and out of our gym, they're athletes.
That's
like,
just the debate, though. Like,
I think the athlete title leads to the athlete mindset, which is push past pain. So that's my issue.
I can see that.
When you're coaching FixFit and they're trying to hit this score because they're trying to beat someone else, so the mindset is what messes it up.
Right. Well, you're an athlete, so get back on that bar and do more pull-ups. I don't care if your hand's tore. Yeah,
and that's kind of that's kind of the CrossFit mindset too, is push past pain. And
this blood blister is serious.
That is a week and a half of. This is from 19.5 where I beat Mark. It's actually where
he had to take digs.
Where I closed the sweep at the Open this year.
Oh shit! Damn. Mark's in the Masters category, isn't he? Oh, now
I'm old. Yeah, I'm in the Masters across all sports.
You know what Mark did? He did the job. When you ride off into the sunset, you're supposed to do the job.
He did.
To the young and up and comer.
That was nice of him.
How old are you again?
I am 33.
And then Mark's
35.
Just turned 35.
I'll be 34 this year. But
man,
my favorite story.
You guys are old as hell.
Well, my selling point is always DJ.
Look at it.
I was like, DJ was a fat kid, and yeah, I said that.
And that. Anyway,
that was done. That was my point. I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, back to the anxiety episode now. Shit.
But everyone sees DJ now because he's the fittest in the gym, right? Which means nothing to most people. But I'm
the athlete in the gym.
People see him as an athlete.
Yeah.
And I always go, DJ was like, he was a fat kid, and he's never thrown a ball in his life. He's never touched the football or basketball.
People ask me to do things all the time.
They think he's somewhat athletic.
I've never been. Like, I get so exposed when I step outside the gym. They're like, "You should come play basketball," and I'm like, "Okay," like trying to granny shoot it or like. I think you're supposed to let your hands hang with both, right?
I tried to get you to go to jiu-jitsu. I said,
that'd be a terrible idea.
You don't need to be athletic to be fit.
No.
Zero.
No, you don't.
Damn, we might have opened up a new episode topic with the athlete versus fit.
Yeah.
Those are two different things, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I think
Athletes
we've established that in our gym for our members because we care about them and we want the best for them. And none of them care about athleticism. Not none, but the majority.
Right.
It's all about being fit, doing things that they never were able to do, right? Hitting PRs, challenging themselves. But again, that's not athleticism. They're not trying to...
Well, but it's like athleticism by our definition, right? It's the athleticism of a CrossFit athlete.
Yeah. Is
what they're looking for. They're not looking to come into... Most of our members aren't looking to come into CrossFit and become the best football athlete. There are some who like have their specialty things that they like play basketball on the weekends or like ultimate frisbee or whatever.
And that's being honest with yourself. I am not an athlete. That's why I hate that term athlete.
Yeah.
Because you're really not there to become that athlete. You're there to be fit. You're there to have fun. And then if you stick to those kind of guidelines that you set for yourself, and if you want to have fun for the rest of your life, you want to be fit the rest of your life, you can't get hurt. And that's why we've transitioned, and because we had to. we wouldn't make all these changes and stick to it if it didn't work. Because we're doing this, DJ and I are doing this because we see what's best for our members. If something else was better, then yeah, we'd be doing just crazy workouts.
Right. FixFit would have faded like everything else, everything else that we've tried to implement and never stuck.
Yeah, like you said, it's always an evolution.
Yeah.
Right. So
I did say that. You're right,
dude. That was DJ's only good coin phrase that we'll take out of it. Bob's was it's okay to not be okay. I still say that in my head sometimes.
I like how he started. It's a different type of pain.
Deej.
He's a different.
Would you say CrossFit
he's a different
or
kind of athlete.
FixFit is just an evolution of the sport.
Yeah.
Damn.
Quote me on that.
Powerful.
How would you say, DJ, your coaching has changed, being a late adapter, even in our facility, CrossFit Sun? How would you say your coaching has changed with the FixFit sprinkle on top, right, or whatever? It's like, let's just say FixFit is just another certification you've taken, right? And then you brought it back, like, you know, CrossFit Endurance or CrossFit whatever. You've come back and you've tested this. How has your coaching evolved?
I just feel like FixFit is another tool that I use to be able to help our members make it through whatever is written on the board. So if bench is on the board and somebody feels uncomfortable doing bench for whatever, and someone's pregnant, right? And they can't lay on their back. Okay, what can we do instead? Okay, well, we can do floor presses. Nope, you're laying on your back. Okay, well, what's another move? So what are we doing when we're benching? Okay, we're using our pecs. So what could we do to use our pecs? Well, we could do push-ups. We could stand and do banded pull-downs. You could figure out how to do it while pulling a sled. Like, it just gives me so many other options rather than being like, okay, I know that a scale for bench is push-up. Not sure why. It's just what we always do. So here you go.
Yeah.
You know, or like even running out of movements where it's like, okay, well, you can't overhead squat, so then back squat. Okay, well, you can't back squat, so then front squat. Okay, you can't front squat, so then air squat. Okay, well, you can't air squat, so box squat. And the like key thing in there is that you keep using the word squat, so you're not, if like the squat is the issue, right? Like FixFit allows me to, it's giving me the ability to kind of like peel back more layers of the onion and be like,
that's nice to hear, because Mark and I could just go like, well, what muscles are you squatting with?
Right.
What are you feeling on the squat down? But
right.
You're like, that's another perspective to look at it.
Yeah.
That you did just say you squat 5 times, and I'm just learning that now working with other athletes that are doing programming. Like today when we talked to somebody that was like, my scale for my accessory movement for squat or benching was just benching with dumbbells. With
right. Bench with your legs up.
It said
right.
bench with your legs up,
okay.
Dumbbells.
So you're still benching.
Mark's like, I'm guessing they want your obliques to fire more and the pecs to fire. I'm like,
right.
No, they did not think that far ahead.
Right.
They just said fucking pull your feet up
right.
and then bench
right.
with dumbbells, and that's your stability work.
Right.
It's like
reputable.
It's not just
program.
it's giving me, again, it's not just peeling off weight. Okay, you can't snatch 135 pounds, so use 95 instead.
Right.
Okay, well, my shoulder still hurts.
PVC?
Okay, we'll go back to an empty bar.
PVC,
Right,
dude.
absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
It allows me to think a little bit more about the way, what I'm giving.
As a coach, you want to add value
Right.
constantly. And let's go back to your point of, hey, what's that honeymoon phase is done? There's multiple reasons why people quit CrossFit, right? And one of them is they're just either tired of getting hurt on that overhead squat, and they keep trying it. They modify it a couple weeks or months, and then they go back to trying it, and they still hurt themselves because they're just still doing some weird overhead squat variant or variation, right? But now if what we've seen is you give them new life, right? Instead of just saying your shoulder hurts when you bench, you're never going to bench, and you're just stuck doing these modifications. We're able to work on their pecs, work on their shoulders without having to actually bench. And maybe they might be excited to bench down the line. I'm speaking about myself right now. And that's exactly, my bench has always been terrible, but now that I know how to use my pecs and for my shoulder to not hurt, then
Now it's terrible and you know why.
At least I know why I'm weak as fuck. It's genetics, I swear. But now, again, I have options.
Yeah.
If I'm taking DJ's class, he can tell me, okay, your right pec doesn't work on that, and then you feel it, and then now I have hope. So it's the honeymoon hasn't even started again. It's like, or restarting that honeymoon,
right.
Because now we have FixFit. It's not just doing
I've always
scales.
wondered, because I work with Mark so directly with people one-on-one, and I go, I trust Mark so much with an assessment.
Mm-hmm.
But for you, you're with the group, and you've messaged me like, hey, this person did this wrong. Like, what do you think? But like, that's really cool to hear your feedback of what you've seen in the gym. That it's just another way to look at it, because that's why I wanted to bring people like DJ on the podcast, because if he has experience teaching 5, 6, 7 a.m. happy hour, all different varieties, and then he's saying like, oh, it's just like another way for me to think of how to train people. That's kind of where podcasting and...
Because I'm not on the other end that Mark...
Right,
Mark's
that's what I'm saying. Mark
like,
and I are so wrapped up on our
right.
assessments and how we're going to go forward, how we're going to go move...
Like,
Explain that, please, would you? When you say we're on different ends.
Like, I'm not on the end where I'm, like, meeting up with athletes one-on-one and giving assessments. I'm not really even comfortable doing that for a lot of the time. But, you know, I understand that people look to me to be able to figure out what's wrong. And so, because I feel that weight of them, you know, needing an answer, I will try to connect with Mark however I can, try to connect with you however I can, do whatever I can to keep it. Because the other thing is, like, a lot of my focus in the gym, especially more recently, has been the functionality of, like, the entire gym, how the entire class programming is running, how all the coaches are doing, how all the members are doing, and not just the specific, like, hey, this one person is injured, what do I need to do to fix them?
That's what I was going to chime in was, you've never 911'd it to us. That's like, this person's like, oh, I don't know,
right.
Just here, go talk to them.
Right.
You know, because that's what I want other coaches to hear, is that it's not that. It's not just like, ooh, you should try that protocol because these guys have had experience fixing shoulder impingement from benching. It's like,
I'm much more like painting with a broad stroke versus like pinpointing it and being like, in this class, you are the person I'm focusing on, and I'm going to fix you.
Right.
I'm more like, okay, how can I write a program that will appeal to the most people and get most people to
I hope that lands on
whatever
a lot of ears.
Do whatever we need to do.
Because it goes back to intent, or like when we program and we have discussions, when he programs and we have discussions about it, it's like, what are we trying to get people to do? And if it's going back to that burpee, right, the burpee, no one does it strict, so no one's fucking using their pecs anyways. Right. They're snaking up in the lower backs. But the stimulus is to get their heart rate up. So then we talk about the intent. It's like, okay, well, we should be doing power burpees, which is doing a burpee without the push-up.
Right.
Because then you
should do a video on that later.
And there's less wear and tear in the shoulders. It's like another way to modify, you know?
Yeah.
But so that's kind of like what helps as a group instructor, a group class instructor.
Right.
Is that we're able to break it down so it's not just linear of like squat to modify. It's like, okay, what is this squat going to give you? We can do so many different exercises that could be a lot safer for these people, safer for your knees, safer for your hips, whatever they're dealing with, safer for the lower back, and still train the same muscles.
And I have that information because I've seen Mark do it enough times. I've had to do it enough times with people that I'm learning how to do it. I'm learning how to assess what's going on. I'm watching people in happy hour that are squatting and, you know, shifting one way or using their shoulder the wrong way. You know, I'm seeing that now. I'm understanding how to do it. I'm trying to implement that as much, but it's just, for me, I don't have the time to focus on.
We don't want people
one-on-one.
to be. That's the best part about it, is that we're not going to train a bunch of people to be like, hey, you should get learn Mark's coaching side. But it's like more like you should be able to see that and then just tell them like, hey, maybe you should try this, and this, versus like, I'm going to become like a duplicate of Mark.
Right.
And
you can't unless you shrink down, become shorter.
And your bench sucks.
And your bench. You'd have to drop a lot of bench weight and deadlift weight. But the goal is for you as a group class instructor, very vague title, you know. But you know, you're trying to add value to the members every class, and make sure you're modifying for them. That's a big part of CrossFit, right?
Right.
Everything's scalable, but are you actually doing it per individual for their needs? So that's what he's taken from the FixFit stuff, and that's how he's implemented it.
Yeah, I mean, the gym speaks for itself when a bunch of people can do a scaled or modified quotations movement or workout and still go the next day like, that's cool, I'm not broken, I'm actually feeling pretty good, I'm going to go back again.
Yep.
And then they could build up to that, versus I have CrossFitters from other gyms that are just like, I can't do RX, or what is the open there? It's like,
Yeah.
I got to chest to bars, and then that was it.
I stood there.
0.
And I was like, you just try to do a chest bar for like
was-
5 minutes,
Yeah.
and then your score was that, and they're like, well, you can't move on because
You have to do it. If your toes don't touch the bar, the rep doesn't count. Enjoy your 16-minute workout.
I've only been like I talked about way in the other episodes. Like I've done FixFit before CrossFit, right? So I got to learn that mentality from the get go. But to hear it from other gyms, I'm like, is it 2008 when they say stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
But it's true. It's still happening. Like I got 2 toes to bar this year. It was pretty good. I'm like, compared to what last year? Just knee ups. I'm like, why didn't you just keep doing knee ups and get a good workout?
The problem with it is that is the word that you use. It's that you're scaling, that you're modifying.
That's what I'm saying.
That you're not going RX.
Yes.
That's the problem, and that was the problem with bringing FixFit in or having its own FixFit class in the beginning.
It's not RX.
It's not CrossFit.
Yes.
It's not RX. So
that's what I'm getting at. It's
pushing a sled couldn't possibly help me deadlift. Because those are 2 entirely different movements.
And you're not
the
counting
only way
reps.
the only way to get better at a deadlift is to deadlift.
Yep.
And
Or to do something that looks just like a deadlift, like a bird picker or something to warm you up or whatever,
But then people even have trouble going, I scaled it.
That-
modified.
Right.
That
It's
goes
like-
into progressions, right? That's a big part of learning things in CrossFit. You're doing these progressions to get better at that skill.
Right.
And unfortunately, all the progressions are technique based.
Mm-hmm.
So you master this kip swing, then you master the kip and then a hip drive and then the pull. But if you don't have the right muscles for it, your pecs and your teres and the lats don't work or whatever, then you can never get past that first progression. And that's what we found with the bands, the ring rows, banded pull-ups, things like that.
That's something I learned backwards.
Right.
Like seriously, now I'm hearing people talk like that.
Right.
Like
Well, but you
progressions
can hear it when people are writing their scores up on the board. People don't like to do that at our gym, but I make them in my classes but it's because I'll be like, oh, what'd you get? And they're like, oh, I did. They'll have the highest score, right? They'll be like, oh, I finished the workout today in 5 minutes, but I only used a 55-pound bar and I did it. And I'm like, that's not what I will literally say. That's not what I asked you. What was your time? And I write it on the board because you work. No matter what you're doing, you're working hard.
Yeah.
You're here in the gym doing something. Like your other option was to not come in, and you chose to come in. So put your name on the fucking board. Put your score up and be proud of it.
That can extend your CrossFit life, talking about that burnout rate or the honeymoon, is that you feel like you leave the gym being successful because let's say, you don't hit any records anymore because the honeymoon's over, then every single day you leave the gym pissed off or feel like a failure.
Right.
But if
I didn't get to do anything in the open RX.
God, I had to scale everything today.
And we've all been through there because we've been doing CrossFit 7 to 10 years, but
Who?
you and I.
Yeah.
not me.
Not we all.
I haven't even been doing it for 3.
And even within the 3.
And even with the 3, he's only really been doing
Skeptical.
CrossFit for like
People go-
6 months.
People see me in pictures, like family or something. They're like, "Oh, you're into that CrossFit stuff," and I was like, "I don't CrossFit.
Please don't.
I work out in variabilities.
Please don't tag us.
No.
It's high intensity training and variability." And they go,
I
don't know
you're the constantly vary part for you is like, yeah, you're gonna like constantly vary if you're gonna work out or not. Like
for me, showing up.
Yeah.
Showing up.
That's what I'm
is
saying.
the
Put
big-
your name on the board. You're
Put your
here.
name- And I'm up there going, yeah.
Yeah. It'll be nice to just leave your name up on
335
Mondays.
with straps.
And it just happens where if you coach any group class, but especially CrossFit, it's like if you're using the same progression, I'm using the same pull-up band to help me with pull-ups, and the time's not getting faster.
Right.
Then you can only do so many of those workouts. So you're like, fuck it. What am I doing this? And I'm not getting better. I'm not getting more fit. I'm not getting stronger at the lifts. I'm not getting more technical at those gymnastic movements. But for us now, it's like, okay,
But that
crap, your pec
before you
isn't fine.
go, right? That also happens on the athlete side where okay, I had a 316 Fran and then I did it again. I think I did it in like 315, 314, something like 2 seconds faster.
You PR'd though.
But like a PR'd, right? But like I mean, how I'm not going to be able to maintain. It's not like the next time I do it, okay, now I'm going to be 313, okay, and then like forever, I'm not going to be continually taking 1 second off. At some point, that scale's going to start slipping the other way,
Yeah.
So you have to figure out a way to find that win for the day. Okay, well, I did Fran RX, great. I can still do 21 pull-ups unbroken. Great. Or today I was able to squat. Today I was able to do a pull-up without my shoulder hurting. You know, I was able to do the workout the next day without hurting myself.
That's where the taking what you can from, let's say, that FixFit approach and applying it to your coaching, where it's like, all right, you felt your lats for once finally.
Right.
High five, and then they're like, cool, that's different.
Right.
And therefore, as an athlete, you have something to look forward to, something to work towards.
Right.
And as a coach, you have just given them something positive to leave the session with. And that's a big issue, I think, in terms of retention, where if you take a high-intensity boot camp or whatever, it doesn't matter what you do, but if you're not getting better or have an option to make them feel like they're making improvements, it doesn't always have to be technical. It doesn't, I mean, I work with DJ a lot because coaching him all the time for so many years, doing this FixFit stuff is like, okay, now we're working on his mid-traps, or we're working on not using his erector so much, still adding value. Because if I couldn't and I just kept telling him to snatch every day, and guess what? He would probably, I would have had no value to him from here on out, you know?
I do. This is the beauty of it. Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
The evolution. We should wrap it up because people don't listen after the last 30 minutes, according to our podcast stats. We're about an hour right now. So,
but there's stuff in the beginning you gotta.
Oh yeah, it's roughly going to be about an hour, which is what we want to do, but we didn't write down any.
You said you had a question for me.
Bullet points. No, I got to bring up the fact that you're wearing a hat right now first. That you're not showing off your hair.
I didn't realize you guys were sponsored though.
You're sponsored by whiskey. Tullamore Dew.
Well, yeah, I mean you got the Rogaine going in there, so is that? Do you want to plug it in now? Not the hair plugs, but do you want to talk? Do you want to hold it up to the mic so we can really hear you?
No. Yeah, Tullamore Dew, Irish whiskey, triple distilled.
FixFit doesn't help hair loss. I'm just throwing that out there.
It doesn't.
FixFit isn't a cure-all.
Okay, I've been saving the story because I hope Hershey's listening. Hershey came in and said,
"Oh Jesus,
your hair looks so full today."
Yeah.
You saw that video. And then I heard that we have a hairstylist in our AM class that was staring at your hair every morning going, I just want to cut it so bad.
Yeah, because it's a mess. I'm growing my hair out. So we're gonna go.
I've only gotten like nice haircut, like a new style, new do. Oh my god, it's so good.
But yours
was like, I just want to cut it so bad.
Yeah.
How come
Why is
both
that?
of you guys are wearing fucking hats when you guys at the time
we hyped it up so much and then we wore hats today.
And I shaved my head.
Yeah.
I should have worn my hat.
Yeah. I sent him a message before I came. I'm like, I'm not doing my hair. Like, I don't care.
We'd have headphones crushing.
I couldn't. My pomp gets too high for that, you know?
No one's ever coming up to me saying, like, I need to cut your hair. It's
no,
so
because
bad.
it's falling out. They feel bad for you.
They don't want to draw attention.
They don't want to draw attention.
It's fucking rude. Hey, man, you know your hair... Ooh, never mind. You should really brush it to the side and cover that.
It looks good the way you're covering that.
I get compliments all the time. Do you get compliments? On how, like, full it looks.
Yeah.
New style. I've had barbers go like, dude, who cuts your hair, man? I'm like...
your barbers are asking who cuts your hair?
No, I had a barber
It's not a good sign.
No, I had a barber this weekend go like, who cuts your hair, man? It's actually pretty good. And I was like, I have a stylist.
Yeah.
You know?
You went to a barber this weekend?
No, I have a stylist.
I know you have a stylist.
No,
I
talked with a barber this weekend.
Oh.
Either way, maybe we'll just do our best hair. I have to take a video this weekend, or I'm sorry, a pictures and video this week. So my hair is going to be on point Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if you want to go battle...
Like tomorrow?
Tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday I have to do.
Yeah, I probably won't do that, but okay.
Do your hair nice. We'll go side by side. We'll put it up for a vote with the gym.
It's great.
No,
here's the thing Here's the thing you need to know about putting me next to anybody voting in the gym. You're gonna win.
Tell them why, Deej. Tell them what kind of coaching.
I'm a heel, baby.
Oh yeah.
DJ's always the bad. He has to play the bad guy.
I have to.
So many times I've heard Mark out. Deej programmed it.
That's not fair though, because Mark programs things just as bad.
I started figuring it out. I was like, Mark, because I'd ask him programming questions every week, and he would answer some weeks like, "Oh, we're doing it because of this, like FixFit wise."
We used to program every other
week, right? Yeah. So then I started figuring out what weeks Mark was doing it, and I caught him in the gym all the time being like, "Oh, it was Deej."
Yeah,
it was Deej. And I was like, you son of a
Everything.
But the other problem is that Mark can do that, and people believe him.
I believed him for the
Right,
longest
but
time.
when people ask me about it, I'm like, fuck yeah, I programmed that.
I played poker for a living. I lie.
Yeah.
I have to lie to pay the bills.
I started figuring out, I'm like, this is Mark's week.
100%.
This is too much FixFit, and then the other week is not as much FixFit
No.
with Deej.
I'm like, because I'd be like, oh, we got to make up for the fact that we did FixFit. So we're going to do 4 30-minute EMOMs. Here we go.
It's all happy hour for the next
Everyone warm up to 90%. Here we go.
And then when we make comps and program, him and I are behind the scenes like, yeah, that's going to fuck people up. High five. And then when people ask, oh, DJ fucked you guys up
Yeah,
today.
dude.
Jeez.
Deej is... And then everyone goes, that makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
that makes sense.
Some people are catching on and they're seeing it's like, wait, you're the one that coached DJ. You're the one that trains him. Yeah.
So, literally, the only bullet points I wrote down, episode 4, Deej, blank page all the way till the last line, and I put, ending questions, top 3 wrestlers of all time.
Top 3.
And be strict. You can't go, the top 3 doesn't all matter. It's
Top
got to be 1,
3?
2, 3.
Based on just who I grew up.
Let's do both. Let's do, real quick, top 3 objectively and then subjectively. So, objectively, like, it's just known that they're the top 3.
I mean,
Because even that's a debate.
Shawn Michaels, Ric
1,
Flair,
2.
and
Ooh.
I mean, I'd still put Austin up there though.
3. That's objective.
That's it.
And it's full, like, performance, merch, everything.
Yeah, I mean, even
Michaels,
I
Ric
might even
Flair.
put Austin first. Like go Austin, Flair, Shawn, something along those lines. Somewhere with those.
That's objectively.
Uh-huh.
And that didn't have Hulk Hogan in it.
No.
Whoa. Okay.
No
and
Cactus Jack? Get
No,
the fuck out
stop.
of here.
Bang bang.
We'll
Get
go
out of here.
We'll go top 10 later.
Yeah, I got lower.
Top 20 later, Mark. What the fuck is this
That's
guy?
like the 3. You get 3 options. Come on.
Come on, Cactus Jack.
You
dude.
go Dude Love,
Mick-
Mick Foley,
yeah.
and Cactus Jack.
Mick
1,
Foley
2,
would be
3.
all 4.
This is the
Idiot.
flip, okay? This is you talking FixFit now. And
Yeah.
Yeah, he's...
So, what's the lat, bro?
Yeah.
Okay, alright, quick, subjectively.
Just like what I believe.
Yeah, who do you love? 1, 2, 3.
I mean, Austin would still be up there. Currently, Seth Rollins would be up there.
Because he CrossFits.
He does, bro. He gets it. He gets me.
John Cena does too. Actually, he just
Power lifts.
I
And
don't
he
follow
and
wrestling
Olympic
like you
lifts.
guys. So
Yeah.
I don't
Power
know.
lifts a ton.
And the Olympic lifts.
We should fix fit him. I know you're listening, John Cena. Hit me up. Hit me up, John
Hey,
Cena.
any of our listeners know John Cena.
Hey,
Put us in contact.
forward him to my 100 follower Instagram page. Rock.
That's Mark's son
Our
for
29
John Cena at gmail.com.
29 subscribers,
I'll
if
fix
any
fit
of you know.
Rock.
I don't know.
That's
What is
it. That's
Austin HBK, CM Punk. I put them subjectively.
He doesn't do lists good. You're one of those. You're
Well, I
like
don't-
Bruce Pritchard, top 5.
Yeah. I mean,
You don't hate when he does that? It
don't
drives
care.
me nuts. Top 5. Everybody's top 5. I'm like, no, dude.
but not
list
everybody's
them.
top 5. I mean, I wouldn't put Mick Foley up there.
No, but if
And I
they
s-
really are in the top 5, he won't rank 1 through 5. He'll just go top 5.
Austin would be
One.
1.
Number 1.
Austin would be number 1.
I think you gotta put Hulk Hogan in the.
I mean, he was there when I was growing up. The problem is, he was only there until I was.
Yeah, but then he became a heel. And
Yeah,
then
but I never watched WCW, so I didn't ever
fucked up.
see. No,
That's where you fucked up.
because I was Austin era.
This guy is the biggest WWF mark I've ever met. Like, he watched all throughout the years that I didn't watch.
I give him shit all the time. I was like, you know all the shit, but you don't even know like PNF stretching.
No. What question were they? It said PNF.
Yeah, that was.
And I'm like,
So this is brought up so many times.
I don't have any idea.
I was
what
like,
that
hey, to
means.
be a good CrossFit Sun coach, this asshole doesn't even know PNF stretching, but he
No.
knows all the wrestlers' names. And
I tell you what,
What's
having
it-
every WrestleMania up to now. Let's go.
but the most important part isn't knowing what PNF stretching means. It's being a good coach, which to us means you have to build a relationship with the members.
Right.
So
And there's not enough wrestler marks in the gym to know what we're talking about. But are we?
Probably
No. Do we? Are we gonna watch WrestleMania this year?
Yeah.
Here, in
Sure.
the office.
We'll watch it here.
Mark,
sure.
it's next Sunday. No, this Sunday.
Sunday.
It's this Sunday. What is your guys' coaching thing?
In the morning.
Okay, good. Let's come right over here after.
FixFit.
After you're done with your mom's brunch.
Oh, shout out to my mom if she got this far on the podcast.
She did.
There's no
Around
fucking
1 hour.
way. There's no way.
Happy birthday, Mom. April 3rd. Sabrina's birthday. I saw that on the board today.
Ain't no way she's getting this deep.
Shout out Sabrina.
At this point, no one's listening, so we can say whatever the fuck
You
we
can ask me
want.
whatever question you want.
The real
about wrestling.
podcast starts. If anybody goes, I really liked her. This weekend, I got some random friends just come up to me and got like, dude, your podcast was good. I got more compliments on my YouTube kickback video than the podcast. Like, I watched
it's a minute long.
because it's a fucking minute long. And then they go, I want more. And then I'm like, yeah, the podcast is going good. And then I log on, so everyone's bullshitting me. I log on to the podcast analytics, and no one's listening
No.
at this point. But this is when the fun starts.
Right.
We're loose now. We got it now. This is why Joe Rogan does 4 hours.
What you should do is cut out the first hour
Start
and
here.
only post. You record for an hour and a half. Make people pay for
I
that
think
hour
D-
where the information
You just
is.
get to change this, though. There's people at the gym that are going to listen further.
I'm not promoting this, so.
You never have.
You never.
It's better that way.
That's what I'm saying.
You promoted the first episode and the word rant in the gym.
Oh,
when I was there.
Jesus.
Rant.
I was
Literally,
like,
I'm pulling weeds and all that. Rant. Okay, I'm pulling another weed. Rant. Okay, I'm over here. Rant. Okay, Jesus.
there was a lot of rants in that one, but we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We still
still
don't
don't know.
but it's fun though, right?
Sure.
You've only been here 2.5 hours. It's not that bad.
I know, but you are screwing out my fasting because it's going to take me a half an hour to get home, which means I'm not going to be able to eat. I'm not going to be done eating till 7:30, which means I'm not going to be able to eat tomorrow until like 10:30, which is an hour and a half after I'm done working out.
Dude, I have sun chips and little trolley octopus right there.
But that's not food.
That's sugar, that's carbs.
It's not food.
Those are the top of the food chain. Or top of the food pyramid.
He is the fittest at an unknown gym in the world. You should listen to this.
You know, people are upset that I put my name on the spreadsheet
Why?
on the leaderboard because they think it's bullshit that I am running the event and I'm the winner.
Who gave you shit? Name drop.
Dustin. Dustin
Oh,
was Dustin was
Dustin?
one. Yeah, Dustin gets riled up and
He's not
everybody
listening to
else.
this shit.
No.
What about Stucky?
What about him?
I thought he would have been the one.
No.
Stuckville.
He doesn't even know how to get onto the Google
He's
Doc.
promised me a year of FixFit again after this.
Stuckville? Get the
Stuckville?
fuck out of here.
No.
Yeah,
Get outta
he
here.
said that every time, and I'm like,
A
okay.
year of FixFit? What does that even mean?
3/4 push-up.
But that's the problem right there, right? Look at a guy like Stucky who wants to be able to, who can compete with us,
He did
right? He
compete,
can
yeah.
hang, absolutely. And what he says, his response to the reason why he's not doing well in CrossFit is because, okay, I'm going to do a year of FixFit. That's not going to do shit for you, dude.
He doesn't
Like it's gonna do,
Yeah.
it's gonna do something.
It's
For
like
his
your
injury.
6 months. It's
Right.
like your 6 months of just following a program, but that's not understanding what the FixFit
Right,
ideas are. Or whatever.
100%.
You can't even apply it.
right.
You just follow the program.
But it's funny that people know, like, I'm fucking broken. I'll cave, dude. What is it? What do I
Right.
gotta do?
Here's actually an important nugget from our gym. No one's gonna hear it. This is gonna be great. Well, people at our gym now, if they have low back tension or tightness or they tweaked it, they know their protocol to get better quicker. They'll do hinges. They'll do sandbag carries, oblique drills.
openers, yep.
They'll apply it to oblique squats. They'll do walk with a sled with their glutes on, and then that typically fixes their issues right away. And so that's the main benefit, I think, is understanding how to take care of your body. That's the message. Not following this protocol saying, I did these FixFit movements, how come I'm not better? Or
Right, right.
Right.
Because they're just checking off a box. They didn't really try to sit there and figure out how to do it right.
I didn't hear anything you just said, but what I think is
Wait,
important.
why?
What I think, because he
Is
said
the
this
audio
is the,
fucked up?
no, no, I just was not listening. But because
This is how our coaching and our business
Can I
runs.
get Andrea in here, please?
no, but what he said,
I would
that'd be
love
way worse. What he said was, no one's gonna listen to this point, and I started trying to figure out, okay, how do we get people to listen? And this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna say a secret word right now at whatever the hell the word is, and you're gonna say to
Brisket.
like whatever, and brisket's the word, right? Message it to you, me, whoever you. Let's say Ian. Message it to Ian, and every time for every message that Ian gets with the word brisket in it, he's gonna do 10 cows on the bike.
Yes.
Fucking
Yes.
Why me?
Yeah.
And we won't say shit.
We won't say shit. And also, if you're listening, don't tell your friends.
Please,
right?
make it legit.
Like, make it legit. But for every single message
Brisket.
that you get with the word
Why
brisket
the
in
fuck
it,
am I signed up for this?
Because you're the least fit.
because you're the
Because Deej was a fat kid, I still am a
That was
fat
a
kid.
high
Is that
five.
that was a high five across the table.
You're
Bro.
still the
bullshit.
before phase.
what? Oh, fuck. God, I didn't know this is the roast.
Yeah.
Of fucking me.
You're fine. Tell me more about.
You would want to roast
Is
the
it because
largest.
I buy fucking candy for you guys, and this is how I get rewarded?
The candy's the problem.
Candy's the problem. What'd you say? Dextrose to
What did
was
you-
it?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
He named a chemical in there.
Titanium
Yeah,
dioxide.
because it was the Sia song or
In
whatever.
the ingredient list, titanium dioxide, yellow 40,
Yeah.
red 5. That's the
I
ingredient.
100% am gonna put in the podcast.
Brisket, if you're
just
listening.
listen for the last 30 minutes. Fast
No,
forward
you
to the 30
can't.
minutes.
You can't. We want a true reading of brisket.
Oh,
Brisket.
What did we name this episode, Deej?
What is?
FixFit for athletes and coaches.
No, that's
How about something longer?
Top 3 wrestlers. Top 3 wrestlers of all time, subjective and non-subjective.
Tullamore Dew?
What is it? Evolution. The evolution of
The
programming.
the
or of,
evolution.
Wasted enough of people's time on YouTube.
The evolution of CrossFit.
Bye, YouTube. Cheers.
The evolution of CrossFit.